That was weird. Hi, everyone. My name is Salwa Anwarali. I'm a realtor in Toronto, and I started my real estate investment journey about 7 years ago. 2 years ago, I became a realtor full time, and I'm trying to help people build wealth to real estate, not only by home ownership, primary residence ownership, but also by investing and becoming first-time investors. I started this podcast because I realized that a lot of value was added to people by the little clips I was posting on Instagram and TikTok. So I wanted to take it a step further, make a bigger impact, and help a lot of my clients get started on their real estate journeys. Majority of the clients that I am helping currently are upsizers, first-time homebuyers that have bought their homes already, and they're looking to upgrade their residences as their families grow up. And also, they are open to using equity and savings to buy first investment properties. That is really what I work with right now. And I feel like if there is any way I can add value to your, real estate portfolio just by knowledge or even helping you buy, sell, and upgrade your property, I would love to be the one to help. A lot of times, people assume that buying a primary residence is like putting all your eggs in one basket. But my approach is different. I work with my clients to create an investment strategy where if you are buying a property or if you are upsizing into a bigger home, we can create a timeline with a savings plan as to when you can buy your first investment property. It doesn't have to be one or the other. You can leverage your saving skills and also your equity to grow an investment portfolio. So the kind of guests I'm going to bring to this podcast will give different viewpoints on the Toronto market, the GTA market as a whole, and what they're dealing with as they help buyers and sellers. And if there are any particular topics that you guys want me to talk about, please share with me in the comment section and also DM me on Instagram, and I can get guests that can shed light on that particular topic for you. Anything related to getting the highest price for your home or, being able to add the right touches, the right renovations to make your home sell for the highest price is what we will talk about. And if there is anything in particular about specific markets where you want to invest in, we will dive into it a little deeper as well. Also, another topic that keeps coming up for a lot of Canadians is investing outside of Canada, getting vacation homes in Florida, for example. So I'm going to be bringing some guests that can shed some light on that, on how Canadians can start an investment portfolio outside of Canada. So I decided I should start a podcast about 2 years ago, but I was a little unsure because, everybody has a podcast these days. So I figured, well, what do I have to talk about? Why should I start a podcast? But then as I thought more about it, I realized, well, if everybody can have a podcast, then why not me? I'm sure there is some kind of a differing viewpoint that I have that maybe others don't share. And I do have a very, very amazing, family community of clients that are repeat clients for me. And I want to be able to add value to them and grow my own community with people that can, get some knowledge, if anything, from me and from my viewpoint and the guests that I bring on. These are people that I work with, vendors such as lawyers, mortgage partners, my broker, a lot of the other realtors that I, interact with on a day-to-day basis. And we want to be able to make your journey smoother. You guys can watch this podcast on any platform that you can watch podcasts on: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. So please watch me, comment, share, subscribe so that you can get some more insight every 2 weeks because I'm dropping an episode bi-weekly, right? Yeah, bi-weekly. Okay, let's see. Okay, sure, every week. It's too much of me. In today's episode, I had a conversation with my friend Sunny Duggal, who is a realtor and investor in Ontario. We discussed whether the Calgary market is a good place to invest in for Ontario buyers, and also whether pre-construction or resale is the way to go. It all depends on your investment strategy, so let us know if you have any questions, comments about the Calgary and the Ontario investment market. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a next episode of my podcast. And today I have a very good friend of mine, Sunny Duggal. We're going to be discussing about our experience selling pre-con, resale. Mostly we're going to let you know how we feel about pre-construction versus resale. So Sunny, welcome to my podcast. Why don't you tell my viewers a little bit about yourself, how you got started in real estate?
I appreciate it. I am glad to be doing this with you. And I got into the business 2016, and initially was doing it part time with a little bit of investing for my own, for friends and family. And eventually, I took it seriously. This was about 2019, 2018, and I started investing or taking my clients to a project which was a pre-construction project in Hamilton.
Got it.
That was my first crack in the new home or new condo development setup. And from there, I've come a long way. Was focusing on pre-construction for, I believe, 2 or 3 years. And then when I got really articulate, serious about the business, then I learned the craft and then moved over to resale. And that's what I think is my niche, or that's going to be my core moving forward. Because I love people and the way they give me feedback, or if I will be the cause to help somebody, that is what I'm after. Of course, money is important. It's the core of any business because that'll pay the bills. But pre-construction was a little bit of a misfit for me personally.
Right.
It
was a misfit for you to sell, or was it a misfit for your clients and what they were looking for at that time?
See, it was. It is yet to be proven because a lot of pre-construction that I sold in my initial years did not close yet. And with no fault of anybody, whether it's the builder, they have permits, they have their own process to follow.
Wow.
But there is no proven track record for me to know what my customer feels. Yes, there is appreciation from what I had purchased for them versus today.
Got it.
Per square foot. But unless somebody sees tangible results, they can't say, hey, you were a great agent for me, you did this for me. Versus in resale, 60, 90, most 100 days later, you would know how good you were for your client.
Got it.
So that's where I say misfit. That's my take.
But you're also an investor. So tell me about that. How did you start investing? And was it before you became a realtor that you were involved in investing?
Absolutely. It was, I was not an agent. I had some family around me. Those were real estate brokers, and they were agents who were in the business, some of them full-time, some of them part-time. And my cousin actually, he introduced me to a development that was happening close to where I was. And that was my first initial crack of investing for myself. And then was fortunate enough to buy a few low-rise developments which closed the most year and a half, and rented them out, and have been fortunate to never sell anything. All of them are rented and
amazing.
Passively, it's been fruitful.
Yeah, you've been able to cash flow on them.
Cash flow, yes, on most of them, but the recent ones that I've acquired, all of them are negative based on the interest rate, based on the market.
Got it.
But you never stop buying, whether it's resale, pre-construction. That I'm all for. I'm all for anything real estate. But if you were to ask me today, based on my years of doing this as an investor or an agent, I would put my own money into resale, because I would be able to leverage opportunity better. I would have more control over the situation better.
Got it. And in my opinion, pre-con is not a good fit for me because I'm locking in, say, $100,000 for 3, 4, 5 years sometimes, and that money is not making a return. What's your reason for not liking pre-con?
That's a great reason. When I was doing pre-con, a couple of reasons. When there was a client that trusted me to buy a unit for them, there was no allocation because of the kind of the market that we were in. And that left a bad taste in that customer's whole propaganda of buying something. And when there were allocations, there was nobody that was wanting to educate, because everybody was saying, okay, you're either in or out. And that's no good way to spend anybody's hard-earned money. So that was one of the core concepts for me, which I could not resonate to, even though I would do this pretty quickly. If I'm into buying something, then I would make an informed decision based on a few different, which should be straightforward. But it was challenging. Before COVID, market was slightly different to where it is now, where there are more projects and allocations versus buyers. It was a flip side then.
Interesting. What about outside of Toronto? Have you ever bought in Calgary or other cities?
See, Salwa, as much as people talk about Calgary, I am anti-Calgary. Just this, you know me. If I have an opinion, it's going to be a strong one.
Yeah.
There are all these great projects and so-called great projects. I don't know, because I don't own a single unit outside Ontario. That's fair to say. Yes, there's going to be management. Yes, there's going to be a rental guarantee. What happens after?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to comprehend where projects are selling for 20,000 down payment.
Wow.
I've heard some horrifying stories talking to other agents who were participating in this Calgary business, where the same developer was quoting one price to you, another price to a different agent, another price to a different agent. And there was a whole hoopla that was going on, and I'm just not comfortable putting my money or my clients' hard-earned money to that cause.
That's
frightening.
Terrible. Yeah.
That's frightening to me. Having said that, being fair, not every developer is going to be like this, but this is what I have seen happen with me being on the field and the thick and thin of things.
Got it.
So that's why no Calgary for me.
Well, no Calgary for me either. I love Ontario. There's so much opportunity in Ontario. So if you were to if you were to expand your portfolio right now, what cities would you focus in Ontario?
See, the Niagara region has been very kind to me.
My favorite, yeah.
Yes, our favorite. I built a little portfolio from the Niagara region. It all started because I had some extended family there, and it was better control. But then as you grow your portfolio, you need more leverage, and you can have property managers managing your assets and so on and so forth. So Niagara region is my go-to because pricing is still within control to what I see. I definitely see the KW region as a big win, which is Kitchener-Waterloo region, for people who may not understand the lingo.
Our lingo.
Yes. So there is a ton of opportunity. And I'm not talking pre-con or high-rise. I'm talking townhouses. Simple resale, duplexes, multifamily, whatever that you can, fit in your budget.
Yeah.
You'll have tenants that will want to rent from you. You'll always, good chances, if you play your cards right, will cash flow most of the time.
Yeah.
And I could stretch myself to London. I know Sarnia, you've been doing phenomenal with your Sarnia property. I bought something in Windsor.
I've never tapped into Windsor.
This was a pre-construction, and I was fortunate enough right before the market changed, I could sell that on assignment, and there was an exit strategy in place. Smaller builder which got really big, and I was able to come out. So
how much did you buy it for originally?
I purchased that asset for $650,000.
The townhouse?
No, a 2,500 fully detached, upgraded home. $5,000 was the assignment fees, which I paid upfront because for that time it was unusual for the builder to offer assignments. And the closing was anticipated in a year. It took about a year and 3 months. right before closing. I was ready to
You were able to assign it.
Yes,
That's
I
lucky.
was actually prepared to close. And anybody listening, you are going with the strategy of assignment flipping. Always have a backup strategy of being able to close an asset.
Because you might not always be able
Yes,
to assign it.
Absolutely.
Got it.
In this particular case, because I was still minding my numbers. They were not over the top, where Windsor had grown and there were several assets over $1 million.
Yeah.
I was able to sell it under $1 million, and a great family got a fantastic deal, and I made some money. So
That's
it was
amazing.
a win-win for everybody.
So now when you assign a pre-construction, you also have to pay HST, right?
Correct.
Okay.
There are a few things or costs that you have to be mindful of in the current day. You have to be mindful of HST.
Now HST max is $24,000 that you would pay, correct? So now when you made that sale, the gain was from 650 to like a little less than $1 million. Did you have to pay capital gains on that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There was capital gains that were involved. Again, there was no commission because I was fortunate.
You got the buyer.
Yes, I was able to. Again, if that would have been, I would have accounted for it as well.
Got it.
And so there will be definitely an HST portion that will be involved. There will be capital gains that will be involved, and so on and so forth. But talk to an accountant, a smart.
Yeah.
All your viewers that are listening. All these will be there, but they should be able to account for these numbers and talk to us or ask these questions when they are signing up, rather not at the 11th hour when they are thinking of actually making that exit.
Yeah.
Because we will be able to break it down for them with the help of their accountant to leverage their money in the right direction.
Yeah, like it has to make sense. The assignment sale amount has to make sense.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people get really scared about capital gains. They're like, oh my God, I don't want to pay capital gains because it's cutting into my profit. But it's like the whole idea of capital gains is you made gains.
Exactly.
You should be so happy that you made the profit.
Absolutely.
You just have to pay a portion. I mean, I'm not going to deny that taxes are a little ridiculous in Canada, but capital gains is just a sign that you made a big profit.
Agreed. And the core component is the expectation should be set from the start.
Yeah.
An experienced agent should be able to tell you, regardless of what the market is doing, this is what you can anticipate.
Yeah.
And if that solves the purpose of the investment, anything above that would be a bonus. And if somebody is promising the moon and not getting you there, then there's a whole mismatch in the first place.
And what was the year you purchased this property and assigned it?
2021, I purchased it, and right before the market shifted.
So
which
end
is,
of 2021.
Beginning of 2022 is when we closed. This was closed in 30 days because I got a qualified buyer who had sold their property.
Love it.
And it was a chance.
So now that's a success story, right? Because the margin that you were able to make, even minus capital gains, even minus HST, it is amazing because you can get that kind of margins buying pre-con now. Unfortunately, because now appraisals are not even coming in at purchase price.
Absolutely. If you are heading in the direction of close, you will be making money provided you close the asset, hold it for a year.
For at least a year.
Exactly. And then you will reap dividends from making that investment. But if you are thinking of a quick exit strategy before closing, unlikely that you'll be able to do so. Especially I must clarify some of them may not understand what you're trying to say is a new buyer would come and still need a mortgage. For that would need an appraisal.
Correct.
And that may not come in is what you're trying to say.
Exactly, because that happened to a lot of our clients recently.
Absolutely. And still, I would highly recommend one and all who are considering pre-con today, 5 years from today, take the asset, close it, and then leverage it. If you can hold it, phenomenal. But if you do have to sell it, sell it after a year on the way the current structure is. I don't know what happens in 5 years, but
yeah, me neither.
yes. So
if only we had a crystal ball.
yeah, but that's what we've been doing to our assets. So we would preach only what we practice is hold everything and
as much as you can.
As much as we
sometimes
can.
It's really hard to do that because a lot of people are thinking, assignment. We'll just assign it.
Absolutely.
So I remember between 2015 and 2020, a lot of people, made a shit ton of money assigning.
Absolutely.
But we can't do that now. So only buy pre-construction if, say, your deposit is 80 to 100,000. Make sure you have another 80 to 100,000 available to close because you need 20% down to get a mortgage.
See, this is the difference between an agent who would care for their customers versus people who would want to sell a unit. Because I've heard agents preaching to their clients, prospects, whoever the case may be, is buy now, I will sell it on assignment. I've heard this.
That's a lie.
time and again. And it's the unfortunate truth that you can't just know what's going to happen.
You can't guarantee that you will be able to sell that asset on assignment.
With COVID, it was so unpredictable. The builders were taking the hit with raw material. This is one of the changes that happened, which nobody could foresee. COVID itself, nobody could foresee. So when somebody makes a claim, bold claim, like I'm going to sell it, you don't know. And that agent or that customer could be in a rock and a hard place where they put all their money down in securing that in order to make some money versus now
now that money's tied in and you actually need to come up with more money if you wanted to close on that asset. And a lot of pre-con agents, sorry, I don't mean to bash pre-con agents, but they say, oh, the deposit is so less and you can pay the deposit over the span of the year.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't make it any better. A deposit is still $100,000 over the span of 12 months or 1 month. It's still locking in $100,000 of your hard-earned money.
That is absolutely right. But on the flip side, let me give you another side of the story. If somebody is new in the country and is smart, wanting to build something substantial for themselves, then pre-construction may be a wonderful route.
Or maybe the only route at that point in time.
Absolutely, because they will be able to put some money aside from their income or their regular job.
Or a lot of people bring the down payment from their country, right?
And they would be able to put that money aside and pay that towards down payment, and in a few years they'll be able to acquire their first qualify and call their first home as their pre-construction investment.
That's true.
So the long-term leverage of down payment may be perfect for some people, but it depends which stage of an investment are you, and all these questions need to be answered, and they have to be asked first by agents like us.
Of course, and also choosing the right project, right?
Absolutely.
Like if it is a new immigrant coming from, say, South Asia or the Middle East, and they have $80,000 to put as a deposit, and they're showing me a project like Union City, for example, and it's a 1+1 for like 900,000, I would be like, no, this is not a good idea.
So my pitch or phone call or conversation with them is revolving around a few things.
Yeah.
What is it that you are trying to accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you are paying currently?
Yeah.
What is the rent, or if you were to buy this, what are the amenities that you enjoy doing? What gives you and your family the joy in their day-to-day lives? Because you can't be working all the time and you can't be buying something that would be a misfit.
Correct.
Even though core downtown may get great rents, but they are not looking to rent. They may be working.
It might be their primary residence.
And they may be working and living in the suburbs. So downtown would not work for them.
Yeah.
So this is a very diligent conversation that any agent should have with their customer, understanding their needs.
Really understand their needs,
before pitching them this project, that project.
And also where they will be 2 to 3 years from now, right?
Exactly.
So if it's a young couple, 2 to 3 years from now, they might have a baby. Will that 1-bedroom condo be a good fit for you after it becomes ready?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It just can't work, especially with South Asian dynamics where a 1-bedroom which is ranging in the 500 square feet can't cut it. No matter the luxury of the building or whatever amenities that it would offer, you still are going to be in a box.
Exactly.
In a growing family with the unnecessary stuff that we have in our homes. So that would contradict to the lifestyle that we have.
Absolutely.
For me personally, I get this asked very often, what is the go-to for first-time home buyers if they are considering? Right now, from a resale perspective, being budget conscious, I pitch them to either the Durham region, which is still affordable.
Especially Oshawa. Love that part of the Durham region.
And Kitchener-Waterloo still has a lot of opportunity. Hamilton is beautiful, where, of course, if you will be looking at the upper mountain, then it's going to be 60, 80, 90, 100,000, depending on the properties. There'll be a difference depending on the affordability. But these pockets are still affordable within close proximity to the core downtown, and an hour's commute, you will be able to go to downtown.
Absolutely.
So these are all things, if given the right opportunity, we would want to sit down with our clients like this, not necessarily a podcast setup.
Not with this setup.
But
no cameras around.
But have this in-depth discussion, understand really, and then cater to their needs rather than pushing a product just for the
Exactly. Really go in their home and understand their dynamic of the family, etc. Because a lot of the clients, we help our families.
Absolutely. Eventually,
so we gotta know.
It comes down to, it's never about the one transaction or the one check. It will turn out to
repeat clients.
Exactly. Exactly. One thing that was recently told to me by a family that I helped recently, I'm fortunate. They said, I can tell you that till the time I'm here, I'm going to be buying real estate from you. I don't know about my kids.
Aww,
so that is the biggest compliment that a customer can pay to an agent. And so
that's huge.
That's what. Then they left core Brampton and they got moved to the Niagara region, and that was not me.
You didn't push them to go to Niagara?
No, I had nothing to do with the Niagara. They just
hey, buy one of my properties.
No. They purchased a beautiful home in and around the Niagara region, which is a lot quieter.
Yeah.
But
But that's such a cool trend. A lot of people are moving from GTA to Niagara. Like a lot of young families, older families, downsizers are moving to Niagara.
Comes down to affordability. It's over some parts of the Greater Toronto area are over the top expensive, and I understand.
Give me an example of what you think is over the top. Brampton.
I can tell you parts of Brampton. There are some pockets which are unreasonably expensive. There is no reason why a home would be worth the price tag that it has, and they would transact and they would sell. Whether it's the builder's project, which are still selling, has slowed down in a big way, but still selling. Even resale, for that matter, there are some pockets which are extraordinarily expensive. A family would have to bring in close to about 10,000 to be able to, carry that home.
Yeah, so you're thinking the price point of about 1.5 to 1.7 million, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's how much the monthly cost would be.
Absolutely. And it has to do, so if you own a 1.5 million home, excellent, fantastic. Are you able to carry that home without renting the basement? Is the big question I want to ask a lot of Brampton homeowners.
Yeah, but the thing is that if a 1.5 to 1.7 million purchase is happening, I'm thinking that purchase is only possible if you're selling another asset and bringing a big chunk of those proceeds to buy something that is 1.5
Totally.
to 1.7.
Absolutely.
Because of course, as you know, right, mortgage rules and everything is tightening. Getting a mortgage of higher than $1 million, like owing portion of higher than $1 million, is becoming more and more impossible unless you give your firstborn.
Or a kidney or whatever.
Yeah, or
yes.
kidneys,
Yes.
like
Kidneys.
everything.
Yes.
So I'm thinking for a $1.7 million purchase, the average family would need to sell something to buy
True,
something like
true.
that.
Agreed.
And I know that people that with more disposable income, their incomes of over $500,000 a year, are not going to buy the $1.5 million asset. They're going to buy the luxury homes.
Absolutely agree.
Right?
There is also, recently I was talking to a couple of home sellers that are considering going into the market.
Mm-hmm.
Summer is a busy time for us. And when I got to their home, like any other agent, our objective is to understand the core motivation of why somebody is wanting to make the move. And they could not give me a straight answer. Not because they were wanting to hide something from me, but because they didn't have an answer as to why is it that they are doing what they are doing. So like our coach says, it could be a lot of times greed versus motivation.
Yeah.
So that is a big factor for us or our market immediately. And when there is greed that's involved, it's tapping into new immigrants that are going to come into the country, even though they are better equipped than when I came into the country,
when I came,
or when you came.
I didn't even know real estate existed when I came.
So today, people are very aware of what the market is like, or what would they need in order for them to afford a home, versus 15 years ago or 20 years ago when I came, it was a whole misfit. So the point that I'm trying to make is, excellent. A homeowner is riding the wave, wanting to make the money, wanting to upgrade their lives. Fantastic. But there has to be a counter effect to somebody who's starting. So not only is the middle home getting expensive, but the starter home is being affected as well.
Absolutely.
And the luxury home, on the contrary, is not being affected, because those will appreciate, but there are only so many buyers.
Yeah, the demographic is completely different of those buyers.
Exactly.
Yeah. But how do you identify greed? Like, how do you guide somebody that is only going to sell for greed?
It's a business decision based on the way I look at it is, am I able to accomplish or come close to what they're asking me
Like
to?
the number that they have in mind.
Exactly.
You mean. Okay.
And I obviously can't tell them that this is what, this is greed per se, because they may have, and no offense to homeowner, they don't sell property day in and day out, so they don't know. We do. And they may be stuck where their neighbor sold in the peak of 2022, and it's our job to educate them per se as to this is what is happening. We rely on data to make them aware of what the market is like.
So you tell them this is the fantasy price, and this is the real world price.
Does this work for you?
Yeah.
And would this take you from A to B? And if it does not, then I can't help you. It's as simple as
I'm not your agent.
Yeah, I'm not your agent. And if it works for them, and again, there will be agents that would say, yes, I could get you whatever price. Everybody's seen sell your home in 72 hours, or
we'll buy them.
we buy home for cash, and all this. Well, it's
where are you getting this cash from? Is it under your bed? Like, what is happening?
But again, we won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
With there is fine line between being an agent that would have some conscience versus...
Exactly. We can't in good conscience promise something like that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, the greed factor, it's like they're wanting to sell this because they do have a backup plan. And not backup plan, but they do have an idea of where they want to move next. So they want to ride that wave of their price being high, but they know that if they do get that price, they have to go somewhere else. So in a way, you're helping them buy and sell. So that would be a hard customer to say no to, no matter how greedy they're being.
100%. We would all-day service customers who are buying and selling.
Yeah.
But unless the sell happens, the buy can't happen.
So you would recommend sell first and then buy?
I always recommend sell first. And it's not because I like to do so. I just ask this to myself. If I were a homeowner and, my property is not sold, but I've purchased something for my client.
Would you be able to sleep at night?
Yes. And would I be able to close on that property without, and most clients will tell you they can't.
Of course.
So, again, in the part of knowing the customer, I always ask, this is my strategy where we would sell as soon as we sell. We would be happy to get on the road as soon as we can. We mark down what their must-haves are or what are they trying to establish. Of course, in the initial meeting, I would have some sense of what they are trying to achieve if this property were to sell.
Yeah.
But I always, based on my years of doing this, I would highly recommend one and all to sell first and then eventually buy something for the customer.
Have you ever been in a situation where even though you're advising them to sell first, they're emotionally tied to a property they want to buy and they don't want to lose that? So they, kind of insist that we buy first. What do you do in that situation?
Then I will have to, give in to what my client would want, and I would purchase the property, but let them know that this is the risk that is involved.
Yeah, but
because
also maybe put some kind of a condition.
Escape clause.
Yeah.
I was participating in an offer yesterday in Innisfil, and bunch of my colleagues, they were saying that is never going to happen. It's not going to cut it.
It might.
Yeah. So, and the way it played out is, the cooperating or the listing agent were absolutely fine with the escape clause. They were just so unrealistic with their price. It was listed almost $350,000 lower than what they were expecting. So eventually that deal didn't happen. But to get to your point, an agent or a qualified, smart agent who has their clients back will have some sort of solution to offer to their clients.
Yeah.
So escape clause is one of them, where escape clause simply means it is a condition based on the seller selling their home to purchase
something else. And then during that period, during the conditional period, the seller can continue to show their home if another offer comes along. So they're not like taking their property off the market, so to say.
Not at all. It's they can continue. So if I'm the listing agent, I continue to pursue another offer.
So this is like a backup offer.
Absolutely. And in the case that offer shows up, there is a 24, 48 hour, depending on the terms in the offer. They actually, the original offer has to firm up their deal
or back out of it,
or back out, and their deposit.
No harm, no foul. Deposits returned.
Deposits returned.
That's a great idea.
That's a wonderful idea, and a lot of agents should use it. Again, being conscious of the market around them.
Of course. I mean, not all the listing agents would agree to accept something like that, but in this market, anything is possible.
Absolutely. We've seen, based on our listings in the past, even 2 or 3 weeks, there is considerable big change. And in this case, I would welcome an escape clause in your offers, as long as I know the asset that is being in question is listed and is priced fairly and the home condition is good. There is a little bit of due diligence which the agent needs to do before accepting the escape clause, but all this can be figured out, and agents should be more open and receptive to doing this. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sunny. I really appreciate all of your insight. And to all of you watching, if you have any questions specific to investing, buying and selling at the same time, upsizing, please share your questions in the comment section. And Sunny, where can my followers find you? Realtor Sunny Duggal across all platforms. Got it. So you're on Instagram, TikTok? Everywhere. Awesome. Yes. Facebook, all platform. One realtor, Sunny Duggal.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
It's
and
an
we'll see you
absolute
next
pleasure.
time. Bye-bye.